regards to the importance of a partnership approach to sustainable development at the local scale, it's the same as the importance of a partnership approach at the global scale. These sustainability topics are very complex, so they are more complex than what any one organization can address through their own existing mandate. So collectively, if you have a common vision to address it and you start using the strengths of different organizations within their mandates and you start identifying additional gaps of things that need to be done, a partnership approach enables that collective action, and therefore you can actually address these complex problems.
I think partnerships for addressing sustainability in cities is the only way to achieve sustainability in cities. Like, our organization is a local government organization, so yes, we engage with the local government, but there are so many stakeholders in cities. Local governments are maybe the obvious organization to help mobilize all the stakeholders, all the organizations, all the industries, all the academics in a community, but they're not the only one responsible for what happens in a community. They're just an obvious facilitator and an obvious motivator. But if a sustainability plan is only owned and celebrated by the local government, it won't succeed. It has to be something that is that is something that is generated from the interest of the parties in the community, and that's the only way it's going to have a long life and it's going to achieve its goals.
Formal partnerships or not formal partnerships, but collaboration is a must to implement sustainability in a city or everywhere.
Without the partnerships, we cannot meet different kinds of issues and peoples, and we cannot, set up we cannot reflect different kinds of voices.
Faire ça tout seul, et c'était toujours été notre approche à la Ville de Montréal, de se dire que c'est essentiel de travailler ensemble, parce que la ville est peu améliorée pour certaines choses, mais on a besoin de la société civile pour faire le changement. Donc, c'est essentiel pour le développement durable de travailler avec toutes les personnes ou les organisations concernées.
Partnerships have been identified by policymakers and by researchers as a key for achieving sustainability goals at the local level. However, large partnerships in particular, which are the focus of my research, are actually more important, and especially because of their diversity and the variety and the number of partners. The partnerships I've been working with have at least 100 partners. Actually, some of them have close to 1,000. And that represents the complexity of sustainability, because at the same time, the challenges that they are addressing vary from unemployment, diversity, water scarcity, air quality, poverty, education, etc. All very diverse and very complex sustainability challenges for which a very diverse community or multi-stakeholder partnerships is certainly required.
So if I have any advice for cities who are aiming to implement a sustainable community plan, and by that I mean any broad spectrum of sustainability plans, whether they're done in one holistic plan or whether it's done in terms of climate adaptation, climate mitigation, affordable housing, economic development, etc. But any of these complex plans around sustainable development, my advice would be to really think through your partnership structure and put a lot of thought into the design of that. Think through who should be your key partners initially, how do you want to do your oversight entity in a collaborative way. Make sure you have a secretariat that's ensuring that action continues and implementation continues. Make sure that the partners themselves are part of implementing, so it's not an advisory body to the local government, but that in participating in this partnership, the partners are actually taking ownership of helping implement the collective vision and implementing their own organizations. And you also need communication aspects within that, both internally within your local government and with your council, but also externally with your citizens and with the partners. And finally, very important, is a monitoring and reporting mechanism so that you can monitor progress, you can make adjustments, and ultimately you can renew your plan. Typically about every 5 years, you can renew your plan going forward, so it adapts to your reality and your new political interests within that particular city.
So slow at first, and really you are a facilitator of a process. You are a convener of people, of organizations, of stakeholders, but all the burden should not fall on your shoulders. You're very good at bringing people together, learn how to facilitate, learn how to motivate, learn how to engage, and learn how to keep the momentum going. And I think that is really a key to success, and it'll motivate all the other people around the table, all the other sectors around the table, to bring their specific skills and their specific niche to a broader community effort.
Have to be very flexible and adaptable, evaluate continuously, and change if you have to.
Okay, so in my experience, first looking for competent people who understand well about governance system, partnership, how to partner or how to communicate with other people, different kinds of issues. And
Je dirais que nous, quand on a commencé, faut partir aussi avec les groupes qui existent. Donc, premièrement, d'avoir des collaborateurs qui sont intéressés. Pas les choisir, mais travailler avec ceux qui veulent travailler avec nous. Il faut apprendre, puis même moi, j'ai apprendre à écouter, puis se respecter. Je pense que le respect là, des échanges, et puis toujours dire, nous, ce qu'on a toujours, le début, le plus difficile au début, c'était que souvent la position, une ville est en position de pas d'autorité, mais de pouvoir. Et les gens avaient souvent tendance à nous demander vous devriez faire ci, vous devriez faire ça. Hein? Souvent, on est dans ce contexte-là. Et nous, on disait non, nous, on veut travailler avec vous, c'est tous ensemble que nous allons faire quelque chose. Donc, ça a pris peut-être 1 an, 2 ans, à ce que les gens arrêtent de nous demander qu'est-ce que vous allez faire, mais plutôt qu'on se dise tous ensemble qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire ensemble.
I will have 2 main recommendations for other cities trying to implement a partnership structure for achieving their sustainability challenges. First is the importance of large partnerships because of the diversity, as I said earlier, but at the same time that the partners are deeply and actively engaged in the partnership. And that means that these partnerships are really committed to achieving and addressing some of those sustainability challenges. On the one hand, you might have lots of partners, but if those partners are not actively committed, obviously their engagement will be very limited and their participation or their contribution to those sustainability challenges might not be that relevant. So if these partners are really committed and actively engaged, obviously their contribution is much more important.
So studies like the study of the University of Waterloo helps us to understand better our work and our network. Also allow us to know experiences of other cities and share information and results.
This research gave us some kind of other perspective or more clear factors to be considered for the further partnerships. That is the first, it's quite beneficial for us. Second one is we can understand our position for a partnership among the world's cities. Now we can network with them to develop our partnership.
Pour moi, c'est hyper important qu'il y ait des recherches qui soient faites sur la collaboration parce que c'est de l'intangible. Hein? Quand on arrive au niveau politique, on leur explique qu'on travaille avec de nombreux partenaires, trouvent ça intéressant, mais en même temps, ils ont de la misère à voir le concret de ce que ça donne. Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire? Tu as bien beau travailler avec 284 partenaires, mais qu'est-ce que ça change sur le terrain? Alors, je pense que des études comme vous faites et des comparaisons avec différentes villes vont nous aider, nous, à mieux faire comprendre, même à notre administration, à la société civile, l'importance de travailler ensemble.
Municipalities engaging with their citizens, engaging with their stakeholders is very important. But see, this study, this is really important because it actually it draws data on that, and it substantiates our ideas. And so that's really meaningful, right, from a research context. And it helps give municipalities the tools and the knowledge they need to engage their stakeholders better.